welcome back to Anna Rosaries, the podcast. I am your host, Anna, and this week we're doing something a little different. I do not have an author interview scheduled for today. Rather, I have a very good friend and, quite frankly, one of the coolest podcasts that I've ever found. Stephanie from Books in the Freezer is here to chat with me about our favorite reads so far in the year of 2025. Now, these aren't reads that are necessarily on shelves yet. These are just the books that we've been fortunate enough to get our hands on. But we talk a lot about when they're coming out, how you can pre-order, and the books that are already on shelves that you can pick up today. Now, some of these books we've already talked about. Some of these are going to be new. It is a lovely conversation. I laughed and smiled so much. It's always a good time talking to Stephanie, and I am so thankful that she was willing to come on the podcast and chat. Also, I feel like this is a free plug, but, when in Rome or whatever. My episode on Books in the Freezer, in which we talk about Severance, the TV show Rita likes, goes live today as well. So if you're listening to this and you're like, wow, I can't get enough of these two women in horror, let me find some more, you better head on over to Books in the Freezer and listen to Stephanie's episode on Severance, Rita likes, featuring me, Anna. Sorry, it feels so weird to self-promote like that. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this conversation and this recap. Like I said, it's a little small snippet of what we've enjoyed so far this year in 2025 in horror. And yeah, it's a load of fun, and I just hope that you all enjoyed as much as I did. Hello, Stephanie. How are you?
Hello, how are you? I'm good. I realize I didn't answer it. I'm good.
I'm glad that you're good. I'm great. I am thrilled to have you officially on Anna Rose Reads. This is your first appearance. The Books in the Freezer icon is on Anna Rose Reads. That's really, really exciting.
Oh my God, I am so excited to be here. Truly. I have been like counting down the days for recording.
What we love to hear. Um, anyway, there's a good reason that you're here. In the vein of some of what my favorite podcasters like to do at the end of the year with their year-end recaps, I thought I would be really clever and nifty and do a mid-year recap episode because we are around the mid-year point. We're past it, but it's always fun to look back. And I
Yeah.
thought, what better person to have on this podcast to talk about our mid-year favorites than you, obviously.
Thank you.
Well, of course. But if people don't happen to know the iconic Books in the Freezer and you, Stephanie, do you want to introduce yourself and Books in the Freezer a little bit?
Sure. I'm Stephanie Gagnon. I host the Books in the Freezer podcast, which is a horror book recommendation podcast where each episode is kind of a like niche or subgenre of horror, like food horror, road trip horror, haunted house horror. And I and a guest each recommend three books in that subgenre and then rate them on a scariness scale that was inspired by Joey Tribbiani in Friends. So scary books go in the freezer. And then
Iconic.
there's fridge and room temperature. And we have fun there. We also have a Final Girl playlist that we add to Spotify playlist where everyone's answers get added. Like, what is your Final Girl song? If you are the last one standing in a slasher movie, what song is playing? And you have now added to that playlist.
I have. I'm
Yeah.
look, it's like a lifetime achievement. Like when you talk about, like when you like cross YouTube, you get like the bronze plaque when you get so many views. Like I want a bronze plaque of like making it on the Final Girl playlist. That's what I want in my life. No, I love the podcast. I love what you do with it. And I love how Books in the Freezer, it's like a pop culture moment as well. Because you do talk about more than just books. You will bring up movies. You will bring up moments in time. It will be a very like all-encompassing conversation about like one very niche thing. And that's very, very fun for me because I'm an obsessive person. I like to fall down rabbit holes. And when I get obsessed with something, I am like all in. So literally the podcast is perfect for my personality type.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That's how it started. I just realized I love putting things in lists and making lists and finding connections and be like, if I like this, then I must also like this. And then I'm like, how can I rope other people into my weird obsessions? And it turns out people love talking about stuff like that. So it's
Oh
been
yeah,
fun.
they do. Absolutely. I mean, it's fun to like draw connections between like crazy ass movies and TV shows and the crazy horror fiction or horror adjacent fiction that we read. It feels like very niche, but like there's been so many things I've discovered through like those kinds of conversations that I don't think I'd have picked up a lot of books had it not been for some of those conversations. So it's very important work too. Like it's like funny and fun as it's like I think it does a lot of heavy lifting within the literary space, you know?
Well, thank you. I also have gotten so many recommendations from guests, like with their book picks or like the movies they'll recommend. I'm like, I'm writing that down.
Hell yeah. Yeah, no. I love what everybody brings to the table with that. But not to keep gushing for too long, but I do want to move on a little bit to discuss our favorite reads so far this year and the rules that we have set up. Basically, this is a lawless land. There are no rules. So these may be books that may already be out. It may be books that we have read that are going to be out, and we are going to encourage you to pre-order them because we love them dearly. Um, Again, we have each have four picks. We'll go back and forth and go through them. If there's enough time, we may or may not throw in some other books that we really, really cared about or really, really enjoyed for various reasons. And yeah, and then we'll move on to what we're looking forward to the rest of the year. So Stephanie, if you want to go first and kick us off.
Sure. I think I might go out of order from the list we have here because I think I'm going to start with Kylie Lee Baker's debut novel, Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zhang. Did you read this one?
I did. I couldn't put it down. I think I read it back in the winter, I want to say. I had gotten an arc of
Yeah.
it. It's been a while, but I really, really enjoyed it when I read
Yes. Yeah, because I want to say this came out earlier this year. And yeah, I remember you had an arc early and I was a little jealous.
it.
Because I think you had the cool like crime scene spray cover
I
too.
did. Somebody from Hodder, I think is the publisher in the UK, had gotten in touch with me and like they also reached out again about Gemma Moore's Itch, and I'm like, I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I am forever grateful because they were
Listen,
the
we love
coolest
this
people.
for you. We
Yeah,
love this for you.
they are
For people
fantastic.
who don't know what it's about, it is about a woman named Cora Zhang, and um, she witnesses the death of her sister, who was like pushed in front of a subway train by a masked assailant. Obviously, this is an extremely traumatizing experience, and it was during COVID. Um, and she now works as a crime scene cleaner in Chinatown, and there's been a kind of string of murders that she's noticed, and no one really seems concerned with the similarities. Like there's also like bats that show up at all these crime scenes, and um, it's a lot about the rise in Asian hate speech and hate crimes that was brought on by the pandemic and the language around COVID. And it was so beautifully written for being such a gruesome novel. Like there's passages where she is like cleaning a room where like a corpse is rotting, and the way she is describing it is like beautiful and heartbreaking. And it's about this woman processing her grief and trying to find meaning and justice for this. I just thought it was a beautiful book and a great debut, and I hope to see it on the Stoker list for next year, honestly. Thought it was a
I
great
do
debut.
too. No, I was really impressed with how much she juggles with that book because it feels like very raw and personal, but it's also
Hmm.
saying so much about such a large like social moment
Hmm.
that was experienced. And so I think it's really special when you can walk that line of it felt like very gritty and personal, but still very like poignantly timely. And the ending, I loved where she took it, what it ended up being and what it was saying. And she really didn't pull any punches. I was a little surprised. Like she went there, you know. It was great. I really, really enjoyed that read.
That's my first pick. That is Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zhang by Kylie Lee Baker.
Perfect. Okay. I'm trying to decide if I want to go in order. I think I kind of will. Okay. My first pick is The Poorly Made and Other Things by Sam Rebline. I have a weird relationship with reading collections and anthologies. I used to have a really, really hard time with them. And then it wasn't until like this year, I would say, that I've kind of found my groove in reading them. And I think I have this collection to thank for that because it was so incredibly good. Um, Basically, if you're aware of Sam's work, and if you've read Edenville, then you know about his fictional county that he's created called Renfield County. But if you don't, basically it is this county or this area where just like certified weird shit happens all of the time. It's like the place that everybody has a weird story about, like this person went missing, nobody knows what happened to them, this like weird folk, it's kind of like folklore in a way, but very modern. And The Poorly Made and Other Things is a collection of stories set around Renfield County. There is a connective thread that does run through all of them, aside from the setting. That was really, really smart and interesting, I think, that I really wasn't expecting. I just thought that the anchor in this was going to be the location, but Sam like went above and beyond. And there are certain stories, like I remember one, My Name is Ellie, about like these things that like live in the wall. It still sticks with me. Like I think about it very frequently. Um, there's it's something one of the other ones too. It's like a really long title. It's like We Must Always Feed the Dog or Feed the Cats on Thursdays or something like that. That was an emotional story for me. He just all of Sam's talents, I feel like, are on display with that collection. And I don't want to say too much without spoiling it because he has another book that's coming out in the fall that is tied into all of this in a way. So yeah, you can, and the cool thing about it is I think you can read The Poorly Made first and then read Edenville or, eventually Galloway's Gospel, the one that's coming out this fall. I think you can kind of read them all in whatever order that you wish, and I think that's really a neat way that he's decided to set these things all within the same place and play with like time and space and weirdness. I just think it's really, really smart, and I'm not a cosmic horror girly. It's not for me, but there are some things that Sam does with cosmic horror that I'm like, yes, sign me up. So if you can win me over, you're doing a really good job, and that's been done. So that is The Poorly Made and Other Things by Sam Rebline.
I love that. I love when an author has a contained universe that they
Me
play
too.
in. It's really fun. And I remember I started listening to the audiobook for The Poorly Made and Other Things, and you told me that you liked My Name is Ellie, and I was like on a walk around my block listening to it. And at first I was like, it's like child POV, which is
Yeah.
like
I mean,
not
yeah.
my favorite. But I stuck with it and it was worth it. It ended up being good. I'm like, okay, okay. This is
It's
I know
so
to trust Anna. I know to trust Anna. Okay.
it's so unhinged because I like
I was
even
like, are
like
you
with
kidding me
incidents
right now?
even with incidents around the house, which is like child's POV, right? Like it takes a minute for your brain to kind of like adjust to that
Hmm.
switch. But somehow, even in a short story, that short story is just like it just knocked my socks off. It's so freaking good and strange and weird and dark.
Yeah.
I just love it so, so much.
Um, okay. My next pick is, of course, Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. I I'm still trying to think like how I would rank them, but I think this is close to the top for me. Like this and The Return are definitely her two scariest books. And Rachel did a book club last night with She Wore Black talking about The Return, and she was talking about how Cleo was like an intentionally unlikable protagonist. And I'm like, I loved Cleo, so I don't know what that says about me. But I just loved this so much. Rachel is so good at writing these characters and writing dialogue and stories that just pull you in. I want to say like she is writing horror for the girls because they are a lot about a lot of feminine issues, but like not to say that if you're a guy, you will not enjoy them. Like you will not have the absolute time of your life reading them. Um, what I love about Play Nice, first of all, I do love the like story within a story concept. And with this, we are with Cleo, who is this influencer. Her mom has just died, They were estranged. It was like a tough family situation. And her mom had the belief that like the house she bought like as a single mom to raise their daughters in was haunted. And she ended up writing this like pulpy, very Jay Anson's Amityville horror-esque book. And Cleo is the baby of the family, and her like older sisters and her dad and stepmom have always just told her like never read it. You don't even want to know. Like she was going through a lot. She was an alcoholic. And it is about like what is truth? What is the stories we tell about people and about like unlikable women and messy dynamics. And it's just so good. Like, I don't know. I could just be like, it's so good
No, I
forever.
could
But I know
too.
you have more to say.
Yeah. So Such Sharp Teeth is like forever like my oh like number one. And
Mm.
this one is like very close in line with Such Sharp Teeth. There was something about the pacing of this book with like the same way I could not put this book down was the same way I couldn't put Such Sharp Teeth down. There's like a, for lack of a better word, there's just like a swagger to Rachel's writing right now,
Yes.
like a finesse, a style, and you just like, especially with Cleo, because she's such a like vivid, fully realized character that she just like revels in it. She just like like soaks up the spotlight and just like takes full advantage of every situation. And it's so fun to read a character like that in a situation
Yeah.
like this, right? And then like the other thing too, because it's been a while since I've read it. I read it a few months ago. The craziest thing has started happening is before I open my mouth about any woman ever, I am like, is she crazy or am I like I think now. I think about it now. I'm like, is there more to this or is it like
Yeah.
genuinely the stuff that Rachel poses in this book before I say anything about any woman for now, I am like, hold on, wait. I gotta think about this. Like, what if there is so much
Hmm.
more to this than I've ever realized? And that's part of the reason that that's a huge chunk of the book, right? I mean, she's
Yeah.
talked about the way that we talked about like mental health and like breakdowns with Brittany in 2007 and like all of those things, but I don't know. That book does real work, like real mental work, speaks really loudly and clearly. It's good. It's really, really good, and everybody needs to go pick it up on September 9th. That's my gentle push to either pre-order or get it the first
Yeah.
as soon as it hits shelves.
You will want this one. Also, I think it's my favorite cover.
Oh yeah, it's a fun cover. It's a very fun cover. I
Oh
have to
my
say, I
God.
think my favorite cover is her UK Such Sharp Teeth, though. Have you seen that one? It's like the woman and she's kind of looking up like this, but behind her the wolf is like snarling.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one myself, but
Yeah. It's minimalistic, but I do love Black Sheep too.
oh, I love that one. I'm a
Yeah.
big
It's
fan of
very
that one as
striking.
well. Yes, for sure. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go out of order now. I'm gonna talk about a book that is also already out. I'm gonna talk about Victorian Psycho by Virginia Veto. So this it's a novella technically, I think, right? It's pretty short, but oh
Yeah.
my God. This like people are like presently still talking about this story. And I will never forget the book is set on Christmas Eve and I read it on like not intentionally on Christmas Eve. And I was like, this is a hell of a time for me to be reading this. Like in the morning, getting ready to go to my family function, and I am reading this unhinged story. The premise is that it's told from the perspective of this essential like nanny governess type figure. Her name is Miss Winifred Naughty, and she is at this estate to take care of these children. And like she is fully realized, like comfortable within her own skin that she is terrible. Like she thinks vile things and like imagines vile things. Like she should not really be around children, but she can manipulate people and she's like put herself in this situation for reasons that are, foretold within the story. This book is bonkers. I mean, it was like to the point where I was like laughing out loud at the absurdity of some of the lines. Like I love it. I love it was like I think the word that comes to mind is like bombastic. Like it was so firing on all cylinders, insane in your face. It was so much fun. Um, I loved it. I felt a little guilty for loving for having as much fun with like so many terrible things as I did, which is the point, I believe. Um, but it's a quick read. It moves pretty quick. Um, I just like I'm kind of like struggling for words to describe that reading experience for me. But yeah, that's my next pick. I think it's one of those like once in a lifetime reading experiences that you're like, holy shit, what did I just read? This is one of them.
This is for the unhinged girls. Like, I think it's so gleefully
Yeah.
unhinged. Like, she revels in her, trying to say like mischief. I don't know what the, what is the like word I'm searching for here.
Malfeasance,
Yeah. Sure.
violence,
Yeah.
cruelty. We
Just
could keep
all of
going.
it. I am interested to see the movie adaptation. I saw like Margaret Qualley is not in for it anymore. It's Micah Monroe. But I think it should have been um what's her face from White Lotus?
Oh, Amy Lou Wood?
Amy Lou Wood. Would she not have been bring a
She
fun
would.
energy?
She would, but like I do know that Michael Monroe, like sh I know the duality of her. Like I think that she can pull off that like
I'm sure
she's
she
got that
can.
she's got the 1,000 yard stare down to a pat, like from long legs, right? Like we know
Yeah.
she's like she's got the capacity to be like demented. But I almost felt like too, like I feel like Catherine Newton would have been a fun pick too,
Oh
because
yeah,
of
she's having
how
a bit of a horror moment.
yeah, how funny she was in Lisa Frankenstein and in the vampire ballerina movie, Abigail.
Abigail.
She was so funny. So I kind of want to see her like in a serious role, like being terribly, like awfully funny. Like I would love to see what that looks like for her personally, but
Yeah.
it would be interesting to see. But
It
that
would.
is my second pick, Victorian Psycho. I realize, I guess, in a bunch of like off-putting things about this book, but I promise it's like so good. You need to go read it. It sounds like I'm like saying it's the worst thing, but I promise it's so good. You need to go read it.
The tone is just so fun.
So much fun,
The, yeah.
literally.
I am pivoting to one that is maybe not as fun. Um, that is Come Knocking by Mike Bakoven. I read Fantastic Land by Mike Bakoven and really liked it. And I do like that this employs a similar style where we are talking about an event that has happened by interviewing people that were involved at different stages. And then like as you read the interviews, like you, the reader, piece together more and you get like more context until you like get to a point where you finally figure out what's happened. And, then we have like several chapters of like, and what does that mean? So this is about a like immersive theater experience called Come Knocking, which was really divisive because it was like immersive theater for one, like that's a specific kind of person. And you had to like wear a mask. It was like a 4-story building where like the actors could touch you. And a lot of people said it was like very pretentious. It was like a take on Dante's Inferno with like a bunch of other things. And so it like grew this really rabid fan base, but then it grew also like haters. And there is a tragedy that happens. Like, you know this when you start the book, that there was like one specific night where there was a tragedy. And like the first person we interview is like a Reddit moderator for like the Come Knocking Reddit and just talking about like what this was culturally. And so the first person we hear from is someone who was like someone who had a deep love for this show, someone who attended several times. But just as you learn more, the way that this show is described in itself, even before the tragedy, sounds terrifying and claustrophobic. But as you like get through and get more context and kind of see what happens and see like the kind of hate that's bubbling up and like what it becomes and just like the violence that could happen at any moment, it's a stressful read. I know you were stressed out
Um,
by this one.
I freaked the fuck out. First of all, I had started it like one day. I was like sitting in my yard and I read it. I was like, oh, this is pleasant. This is nice. and it was like it was creeping towards like diabolical, really intense social anxiety for me. And
Yeah.
then my dumbass got on a plane when I already have like flight anxiety to go to Stoker, and I was like, let me finish this now. And I was a wreck. I had like this is a huge compliment to Mike, but I had like the worst time. Um, there are certain accounts that you find out from like firsthand witnesses, like the
Mhm.
fictional ones, but about the injuries that they see whenever this thing happens. And there are certain visuals and sounds, and like I don't know what about this book just made it feel so real to me. But like I think we all know like we've been in a space where we felt like claustrophobic or like this is too much or this is whatever. And like the whole book felt that way to me. Like everything that can go wrong does go wrong. And it like just pressed all of my buttons, I think, to like freak me out. And then on top of it, it's just like I think because it could happen. Like there's a realism to it, right? Like that makes it extra, extra terrifying. So it does a
Yeah,
lot of work, that book.
it does. And I think that, yeah, the scariest part is, yeah, like relaying it to like our moment now and the way that people, I mean, don't hide behind masks anymore. Like they are mask off. I mean, there's people on videos proudly saying that they are fascists. Like that is where we are now. The masks are off.
Yeah, there's no barrier anymore. Like that illusion is gone. And yeah, I mean, I don't do haunted house like the haunted houses where like people can touch you
Oh
for a
yeah.
reason. Like, no, thank you. So this like the fact like when they said that they can reach out and touch you and like pull you in different rooms, I was like, hell no, nope, absolutely not. There's not enough rules in place. Absolutely not. No, thank you.
Like for me, it's like all of this, and you're like wearing like a mask that they just give to you. You're like, it's all hot, like your face is all
Oh,
hot, and you're in this room with like a bunch of people, like I don't know, and you don't know
I
what's
would
going on.
hyperventilate.
It's too disorienting.
I would hyperventilate like 4,000%. I wouldn't even know. I'd be done on the floor. That'd be it for me. So I'm gonna move on to my next pick, and I'm gonna I'm not gonna go in order again. I'm gonna go into another book that is already on shelves. Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. Um, this is a big book. It feels like to me, in terms of Stephen's writing. I'm by far not an expert. I mean, the man's backlist is like so extensive. I have not even put a dent in reading that. But Buffalo Hunter Hunter has this really upsetting, dreadful poignancy to it that is so beautiful. And it was just like historical fiction's not for me either. Like I really struggle with it. So I went into this book and it's a thick one and I was intimidated. I think I talked to you about how I was intimidated. I was like, I don't know how
Yeah.
this is gonna land for me. And then you kind of get into the cadence and flow of the way that the story's being told and like the formatting of it. Essentially, we know this Lutheran pastor, this is set back in the day, and he is retelling a story or kind of recounting his meeting of a Native American man known as Good Stab. And he is like chronicling all this in a diary, but we're also reading the diary that's been found in present day in like 2012 by like a distant relative of this Lutheran pastor. So it's like really trippy, the storytelling mechanics of it. And it's like really layered and it's all very intentional. So that's like kind of takes a while to get used to, but I promise it's worth it. But yeah, as we learn about this Native American man, Good Stab, and what he's been through and what he really is, it is heartbreaking. It's sad. It is so gory. I think it's one of the goriest things I think I've ever read. It's really unrelenting and like as it should be. It's truly something. I don't know how Stephen planned it all out, plotted it all out the way that he did, but it is so astounding. Um, yeah, and the places that book goes is really, really incredible. You kind of second guess everything. It feels like a little bit of an unreliable narrator situation, just given that you're hearing accounts of this over and over again. But yeah, again, this is not the kind of book that I thought that I would have loved so much, but I found myself like in the thick of it, totally invested, totally sucked in, and just like totally running with it as it was unfolding, and my heart was breaking on the page. It was so beautiful. It just feels like a really big book in so many ways. So that is Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones.
Oh my gosh, definitely. I am always astounded by what he is able to do in
Yeah.
his books. And I think in this one, it's the like how different the type of writing is for
Yeah.
each of these voices. You have like a modern day woman in like 2012, you have a Lutheran priest, and you have Good Stab, and their voices and the way they are writing is just so different from each other. And there's like I think with the like Good Stab chapters, it took me like a bit to like get used to like what was going on because like words for certain things were different and it's like a whole journey you go through and like until it like finally clicks for you.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
kind
this
of
one
like
gets you.
yeah, I felt like I was floundering until like all of a sudden I remember I was like reading it on my Kindle and like I looked down at like the percent and I was like, "Oh wait, I'm not anymore." Like I'm moving and I'm not like having to stop and be like, "Oh wait, what's like, like your brain
Mhm.
just kind of like makes the switch at some
Yeah.
point." It's something, I don't know, it's kind of like magic, but no, all of the perspectives are so distinctive. Everybody's got such a clear voice. I don't know. He writes some really messed up stuff in that one too. It's such an incredible book. So yeah, that is my third pick.
We love it. Okay, my pick is When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy, which I have already had words with Nat for making me cry. Um, with this book. And this is about a struggling actress who is like coming home after like a really rough shift and she sees a like 5-year-old boy hiding out in the bushes in front of her apartment and then has a violent confrontation with the boy's father. Then they are on the run. That is like the vaguest possible way I can say what this book is about without really saying anything. But this book is about, yes, like daddy issues, but it is also about like fear and anxiety and like doing what you love. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it just is all of these things. And Nat is one of those writers where I look at his stories and you can just look at all the pieces and everything just fits together so perfectly. Like you see the thought and intention behind every sentence. Like it just, I feel like there's not a misplaced word. Like it really feels like you're in the hands of an artist, you know?
Yeah, 100%. That book, it, I was like sobbing at my old job because I was reading it at work. I finished it and I was like taking deep
Yeah.
breaths, crying, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna like. It's the kind of book that wrecks you because I think everybody can see themselves in that book at one point or another.
Yeah.
And because that book is so many things and like it's very in that way it's very like self-referential. What he's writing about is very much that. It's just so smart. Like you just think
Mhm.
about it on every level. It's so intelligent.
Yeah. I mean, I love that the first section of the book is titled All Dads Are Motherfuckers, and everyone's like, hell yeah, they are.
I didn't see like one bad thing about that. Like everybody who saw it was like, hell yeah, brother, and then just rocked on. That's good shit.
So
Um,
that is mine. Ripped my heart out and stomped on it, but also inspired me, one of those things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in that same vein, I have a pick that is not on shelves yet, and it did the same thing to me. And I don't think that you've read this one yet, but when you do, you have to talk to me.
I
Um,
will.
okay, good. It is Neil McRoberts, Good Boy. You know him from Talking Scared, but ladies and gentlemen, this man wrote a story that I think within the first 25% had me in tears. Um, it is the one of the most like excellently written, heartfelt, just like this the style and tone and voice is so clear. I'm just like so excited for Neil because it's so good. Good Boy is about it's set in the north of England. It's part of the Northern Weird project that's coming out with Wild Hunt books. So that setting is really, key to that project in this book. But in the north of England, there's a woman who's like looking out her window one day. She sees this guy like burying something underneath this tree in this lot, like across from her house or like near it. And there's coincidentally like been a boy that's been missing, and so she's immediately is like, well, what the hell is going on? So she goes over to find out, and then she does find out. And that story is, in essence, Good Boy, the tale that she gets. And oh my God, it is so heart-wrenching. It's a lot of people have been comparing it to like John Langan's style of telling like a story within a story, and I really have to agree. It is like the best thing that you overhear from the guy sitting across from you at the bar, like the old guy sitting over there. Um, it is so good and full of emotion and like melancholy and poignancy and raw emotion and love. There's so much love in the story. Of course, there's a dog. It's about the world's goodest dog, the best boy.
Mm,
His name is Riot, and I want everybody to meet Riot because he's just the best. Yeah, I could go on for days about, and it's a novella. It's another novella. The thing that really shocks me sometimes is how much authors accomplish within short spans of page
yeah.
length. And like much like with Victorian Psycho or some of Sam's short stories, like what is accomplished in this shorter amount of space is like so iconic to me. So yeah, this is Good Boy by Neil McRobert. Another one that if you're thinking about pre-ordering it, you should. It comes out on October 9th with Wild Hunt Books. So that is my last pick.
Okay, I will read it. It is on my Kindle as we speak.
You have to be like I would say you have to be in a pretty good headspace to read this one.
I'll have my tissues
Not be
ready
having,
for
yeah, you
Neil to
cannot be
break my
having
heart.
if you are already having a bad day, do not do this to
Okay.
yourself. Um, but no, it's like the best kind of heartbreak. Like I say it like that, but it's not. The good thing about Neil is like he knows how to look after your like storyteller heart, right? Like he knows how to like kind of take care of a reader, so you're not gonna be left high and dry. Like I don't want to say too much, but it's
Okay.
it's worth the hurt. The hurt is good. So
I trust his storytelling instincts.
yes, yes. Okay. So I think we might have some time for some quick rapid fire honorable mentions and maybe some other anticipated reads of the year if you want to name a few of those.
Okay. I also really loved Blood on Her Tongue by Johanna Van Veen. That was a gothic story. It's about twins, it's bog horror, it's wild. I really liked it. And I'm gonna steal one of yours because I want to talk about it, but I loved Breathe In, Bleed Out because
Oh yeah.
I am a slasher girl to my core. And like Steven, Brian knows what he's talking about. Like, it's so fun to read a slasher written by like a very obvious slasher fan. And
Yes.
oh, I had so much fun with it. And not horror at all, but I really loved Blob.
I thought the premise for that is so fascinating. Like I need to read I have a copy of it. I need to read it.
Okay. I think I'm trying to remember who the author was. I think it's a debut novel. So I should have come prepared with that. It is about a woman who finds this like gelatinous blob outside of her, I want to say like place of work where she's like out with friends. And she is kind of just like aimless in life and takes home this blob and it starts to like become a man. And like it is about like her relationship with this blob as it like becomes sentient, but also how this relationship helps her find herself. And it was beautiful. I don't know.
It
I didn't
sounds like
think
it's
like
beautiful. No, the author is Maggie Sue. I just was able to
okay.
pull it up because I also forgot as well. No, I think it's one of those things that it's like so like the premise is so weird and out there that it's going to be brilliant. Like
Hmm.
to have so much fun with that kind of setup is chef's kiss. Are those all of your quick picks?
My like honorable mentions, yeah.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna move on to mine.
Okay.
Breathe in, bleed out. Second that. That was so much
Okay.
fun. House of Beth by Carrie Cullen. That
Yes. Okay.
novel does so much heavy lifting. The longer, like the more space I get from it, the more like I think about it and like how good it was. It's about like it's basically the opposite of a Hallmark movie. It's like about this woman who lives like leaves her big city life to go back to her small New Jersey town. And she like ends up kind of falling for her childhood best friend and like she finds herself like living in this life, but his former wife who passed begins to kind of make herself known in some strange ways. So
Yeah.
it's about Beth, the wife, and um I'm blanking on her name now. Oh my God, I just had it like 2 seconds ago. Um the main character, how she's reckoning with the self that she thinks that she is versus what she should want, what she thinks she wants, and like all of these different things. That she's queer and she's like struggling with like kind of living this like trad wife lifestyle and like being like a stepmom, and there's so many things that that book does. It's so incredible. Of Flesh and Blood by N.L. Lavin and Hunter Burke. This is like my passion project book. Like
Yeah.
I will never shut up about this because it is set locally to me in Louisiana, and the guys are from near around here. And it's basically kind of like if Chasing the Boogeyman was set in Louisiana.
Oh, interesting.
It seems very like fake true crime, straightforward, procedural until it may or may not be later down the line. It's about like the Cajun cannibal and this forensic psychiatrist, I think, um, who is related to him. And he kind of like does this case study and he's like trying to figure out what really happened with him with this case. And he uncovers more than he expected. And then he has to like learn about himself and his family and all these different things. It's really, really incredible. Highly, highly recommend it. I think horror fans really love it. I know it's kind of be marketed like towards like thriller and mystery, which it definitely is in some aspects, but I think horror fans just like get this kind of book. Also The Lamb by Lucy Rose, crazy ass book. Loved it so much. Absolutely. The first line has to do with like finding severed fingers in a drain. If you ever needed a sentence to hook someone, that's it. It is so atmospheric and like all gas, no brakes kind of the whole way through. She goes there with that novel. It's very, very good. Saint Catherine is a graphic novel that explores a woman who has always gone to church every Sunday. She's Catholic, and then she decides to skip one Sunday, and then she believes that she's possessed by a demon, and it follows her around, and she's like wrestling with her faith and her like morality and all these different things. It's really, really good. And Stephanie, I think that this one you read this one and it also made you cry at the same
It
point
did
that it
make
made
me
me
cry.
cry. We
I
both cried at
messaged
the
you. I'm
same
like,
part.
why is this making me cry? I mean, I know why it's making me cry, but I just wasn't expecting it. I was expecting it to maybe like be kind of like funny, tongue in cheek, maybe a little introspective. And I was like, why am I sobbing?
No, no, it's like it's doing that's another book that's doing like a lot of work. It's a very pretty graphic novel as well. And
Mhm.
then my last rapid fire pick is Punk Goes Horror. It is just like one of the most fun anthologies I've read in a hot minute. It's got Brian McCauley's story in it. It's got Rachel Harrison's story in it. It's got Liz Caron's story in it. There are just so many heavy hitters in that one. Winnie Dalrymple's is really fun too.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good time. And if you like just enjoy music in general, I think that you'll have fun with that one. Okay. I think that's all of them. That's all of my quick recommendations.
Well,
Okay. Do you want to mention, are there any that you want to mention that you're excited for the rest of
yeah.
this year?
I am very excited for Michael Weehunt's The October
Yeah.
Film Hunt. I got a very coveted arc at StokerCon, and it is like staring at me. I have reading I have to do to prep for certain episodes, and it's one of those like the minute that I am done with these, I am picking you up. Um, Also, Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle looks so fun. That's also on my stack, like staring at me. And Dark Sisters by Christina Meester
I
is
love
like
that one. I did read that one already, and I did like it a lot.
good, good, good. I've heard everyone that's read it has told me good things and has told me that I would like it. And I love Christina Meester, so like I feel like I'm gonna like it.
No, she's incredible. I love her as well. Okay. For some of my most anticipated, I have This Is My Body by Lindsay King Miller
Yeah.
that I'm like starting within the next few days or so. Also, What Hunger by Catherine Dang, I believe. Um, I think it's gonna be one of those like when I say mean, like a mean novel, weird girl horror stories that kind of
Ooh.
contends with a lot of heavy topics. So I'm interested to see how that goes. I have Lucky Day coming up as well. I just started T. Marie Vandelli's An Evil Premise. She's the same author of theme
Yeah.
music. And it's a really interesting premise, this novel. Get it? Premise anyway. Uh, it feels like a little Misery style because it's about like a sister who has to recover her sister's manuscript and like finish writing it for her because she's in the hospital after getting hit by a car. And weird shit starts happening as these things go. So I'm interested to see how that goes. Also, Coffin Moon by Keith Rawson.
Oh,
Heard
looks
great
fun.
things about that. Galloway's Gospel, I already mentioned, by Sam Rebeline, kind of plays still in that universe that he's created with Renfield County. Veil from Jonathan Jans, I think it's more sci-fi, but
Looks like,
yeah, I have a lot of fun with all of his stuff. So like
yeah.
genre doesn't matter.
Nah.
Fiend by Alma Katsu. It
Oh,
looks
yeah.
like if Succession was a more of a horror horror story than it already is. That's what that would be. So I'm really excited for that one. Broken Dolls by Ali Malenko
Yeah.
is a middle grade horror story that I'm really, really excited to get to. There's Autumn Springs Ma Home Retirement Massacre. That's a long title by Philip Fracassi. I actually started that one,
Slasher. Yeah.
I had to put that one down because my grandma got sick and I was like, this is too
Oh,
much
that's
right now.
right.
Yeah. I started this like months ago and I was like, I need to read something else right now. Um, but I also have October Film Haunt on that list. Her Wicked Roots by Tanya Pell. It's like a gothic. The cover is gorgeous. I think she's getting sprayed edges as well. That
Ooh.
looks like a very incredible novel. Crafting for Sinners by Jenny
Yeah.
Kiefer. And then The Big Bad King of Sorrow by Joe Hill himself will probably top off my TBR at the end of the year.
That is a chunker.
It is a chunker. I
Uh,
I am very intimidated by it, but I'm also optimistic. So.
I'm currently reading it and it goes faster than you think. Like as someone who I don't know. I think I have attention span problems. I really struggle with like really long books, and I'm on page like 600. Like it goes.
It's a big book. Like I saw what it looks like on a shelf compared to other books, and I was like, oh shit. Like that's a book. Um,
Oh my God, did I have time to mention the short story collection I just started reading that I'm
oh
really
wait, yes, no,
liking?
please talk about it because you mentioned it earlier today.
Yeah, I picked it up like on a whim, like so randomly, but it's called Tell Me Yours, I'll Tell You Mine by Christina Ten. It is a short story collection, like a little bit speculative. And so far the stories I've read have kind of been like millennial, like Y2K kind of girly horror, but also from like an immigrant perspective. So like there's a story about like this family that like finally gets like a computer in their computer room and the daughter is struggling with ESL and picking up English at school, like they're Russian immigrants. And so they buy her like CD-ROM computer games to like help her with her language skills. And she ends up playing like an evil computer game that she becomes obsessed with.
Sounds so good. Oh my God. I remember like being younger and like having the typing games that would like help you type or like the math games, and those were so stressful for me because they were always time-based. So I can
Yeah.
only imagine what this is like.
Oh, like she describes it. I'm like, that's like weird. She's like, you're in like a grocery store, but like your hand is a hook and like the shelf is full of maggots. And I'm like, what is like this is
Oh,
nightmare stuff.
I need to read this immediately. Okay. I love it. I'm all for that. Okay. All right. So I think that about wraps up some of our favorite reads of the year, and what we're looking forward to. But as it pertains to you and books in the freezer, what does the rest of the year look like for you? I mean, I know obviously you're cranking out episodes and all that good stuff, but anything you want to mention?
Some exciting stuff. I think by the time this episode comes out, our episode on a
Oh
Severance
yeah,
read-alikes will be out.
this is true.
Um, so that'll be fun. I do have another read-alike episode with Rachel Harrison that I am pulling out of the vault. But I also this year started a Patreon series that you have been on called
So
The
fun.
House at the End of Fear Street, where I am reading all of the Fear Street books and like talking about them with a guest. I did not grow up reading these because I was a Goosebumps kid. Like that was more what was for my age group at the time. And then like when I came of age, I just didn't read these. These are so wild and unhinged and they're just so funny. And they're so
I mean,
delightfully 90s.
oh, 100%. From the one that I read in the episode that I did with you, I had so much freaking fun. And like we talked about it before we started recording this. It is such a fun time. Like truly, I don't know what our son was on writing these, but oh my God, truly out there, but makes for the best kind of conversation pieces.
Oh my gosh, there's Fear Island, there's future ghosts, there's FBI agents, there's people getting murdered on phone calls. Like it's this place has everything, as Stefan from SNL would say. Tis a silly place.
Absolutely. I'm all for it. I mean, it's a place called Shady Side. Let's be so for real right now. Oh man. Well, this has been a lot of fun and it has been like an absolute pleasure to get to talk to you throughout the year as well as today about these books. And I'm really excited to see what the later half of this year has in store for us horror fans. I feel like, per usual, we're getting plenty. We're getting a lot of
Yeah,
different variety and
we're
we're
getting
getting to
fed.
we are. We are.
We are
Um,
nourished.
oh, well. Yeah, it's a really exciting time to be a horror fan, and I don't know if you feel the same way, but as somebody who does do like the advanced copy reading, I get really excited for release days to see like everybody else's reaction to a book
Yeah,
and like how much they're gonna enjoy it. And like I feel that way about like Play Nice and
yeah.
like Breathe In, Bleed Out. Like I feel like those books like people are just gonna absolutely love. So, it's always something fun to look forward to. But Stephanie, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all of the laughs and all of your insight. It is always a wonderful time, and you are welcome on this
Mm.
podcast literally anytime that you want. So
This
you
has
tell
been
me
an
when you
absolute blast.
look, we're here for again, this is a no rules fun space.
We are Outback Steakhouse, baby. No rules, just right.
I haven't heard that in so long. Oh my God, I love it. Okay. Stealing that. That's going to be my motto for Anna Rose Reads now, actually. Oh, incredible. Well, thank you so much once again, and until next time. A huge thank you again to Stephanie for her time and joining me on this podcast, which is full of tomfoolery, shenanigans, and plenty of unseriousness, as I'm sure you could hear from all of our laughter during this conversation. Stephanie is somebody I feel very fortunate to call a friend and somebody who I look up to immensely in the horror community, in the podcasting space. I just really love the conversations that she's able to foster around horror fiction and just horror in general, whether it's movies, it's books, just niche little pockets of pop culture. She has got it down pat. So it's really, really special to get her on the show, especially for a recap episode like this. I am still working on finalizing my schedule, basically moving through August through the fall. It is quite a busy month of September for horror releases, so figuring out the pieces by which all of this will fit together is quite something. Scheduling is a little bit of a nightmare, but rest assured, I will keep you all updated on social media on who should be on the podcast next and what you can expect on Anna Rose Reads. A huge thanks again to everybody who's shared, subscribed, rated, all that good stuff. I know it feels a little repetitive and monotonous by the time that I get to this part of the episode, but I just also want to express my gratitude for you all because it wouldn't be possible without you all. So thank you so, so much. Yeah, and stay tuned for what's coming up next on the pod. I should have updates for you soon. And until then,